We now have to go into victory because our country's in serious trouble. We have no respect on the world stage. Again, this was a great day of victory. Last week was something very special, Super Tuesday. But now we have to get back to work because we have the worst president in the history of our country. His name is Joe Biden.
Well, that was from last night on Truth Social from the former president. And now the stage is set. And it's March 13th. And for all those who thought that this was going to be a battle for months and months and ongoing, it hasn't happened. It's been wrapped up already. Donald Trump needed 1,215. Right, 1,215 delegates. He got it last night, late last night, in the state of Washington, 1,241. He is the presumptive nominee for the Republican Party. Now, as we look toward the general election, just want to examine a little bit of the polling we're seeing here, and you're going to see a ton of polls, all right, for the next 8 months, all right? We believe, based on a crush of those polls, real clear average has Donald Trump with a slight lead, however, within the margin of error. We talked yesterday about the Magnificent Seven, the 7 states that will side this. Today, we're doing the Crazy 8, all right? If you know that card game at home, the Crazy 8. We added Minnesota, which leans Democrat, and Michigan, which leans Democrat. And we put also on the board Georgia and North Carolina that right now we believe lean Republican. Critical states, right? Remember Georgia from the year 2020. But the ones in yellow are the legitimate toss-ups right now. Nevada and Arizona, and also Pennsylvania and Wisconsin in the upper Midwest. Remember how important this was for Donald Trump to win in 2016. It's going to be vital again if he wants to come back and be the president yet again. Advance this here. Here's your forecast. The way we see it as of now, you need 270 to win, right? Donald Trump's at 251. Joe Biden's at 241. The toss-ups we just mentioned will determine this election. So with that, back to my partner, Dana, with more.
I want to bring in Marc Thiessen, former speechwriter for President Bush, now a Fox News contributor. And Biden and Harris said that they'll be going to North Carolina as well, so they might see something there. Let's look at this poll here. Fox News, how would you vote if the candidates were Trump, Biden, RFK? So you got 41, 38, 13. So now the race is officially, well, I guess mostly officially set, and you have a situation where Biden is polling just behind Donald Trump at this moment. Mark, how do you see it?
Yeah, well, it's going to tighten before the election. I mean, look, Joe Biden is the most vulnerable incumbent president in modern American history, but Trump can't just count on his unpopularity to win. He's got to exploit his vulnerabilities, and he's got to unite the Republican Party. He won in 2020. I mean, he lost the election in 2020 by 43,000 votes in 3 states. We'll call them the terrific 3 since we're talking about the Crazy 8 and all the rest of that.
Like that.
Nikki Haley won 2.9 million votes in the primaries so far. If those and our Fox News voter analysis shows that somewhere between 5 and 10 and 6 and 10 of those Nikki Haley voters say they won't vote for Trump in November. If even a fraction of those voters deliver on that promise and stay home or vote third party or just split their votes or something, Trump loses. In Georgia yesterday, he won Georgia by about 11,000 votes. There were 77,000 votes for Nikki Haley. So the Haley voters are the swing voters of the 2024 election. Trump has to win them over. He has to pivot now to the general election and focus on uniting the party and the non-MAGA part of the GOP he needs to win, because if he's split, he doesn't win the presidency.
So on those Haley voters, you think about Georgia, right? Think about Virginia. You think about New Hampshire. That's where I think it was most pronounced, Mark. Would you agree?
I agree 100%. I mean, and again, this is going to be the MAGA vote. What Trump needs to understand is that MAGA voters are not going to decide this election. His base is energized. His base is loyal to him. He's even expanded his base somewhat, because MAGA really was only about a third of the electorate, but Republicans have rallied around him because they're out. They're angry about the way he's being treated. The left has weaponized the justice system to go after him. They're trying to weaponize the Constitution to keep him off the ballot. They're using civil lawsuits to try and bankrupt him, and Republicans have rallied around the president. But he's got to win over those voters who haven't yet rallied around him, who are concerned about what a second Trump term would look like, who are concerned that he's more focused on revenge than restoring the country. And if he doesn't win those voters over and unite them and make the case to them, they're gettable. They're not. His problem isn't never Trump voters. It's not Trump again voters. It's people who like his policies, might have voted for him in the past, but are concerned about about what a second term would look like. He's got to assuage those concerns.
And it's interesting because at the moment, still, President Biden is trying to lock down his base because they are not enthusiastic, as you saw, and Bill just pointed out, in Minnesota. He had 20% of Democrats saying they voted uncommitted. Let me also ask you about the Hur report. There was this testimony yesterday, the New York Post, with this front cover, "You heard me." Where do you think it goes from here? Is this now behind us?
It's not, because it's I mean, this is, I don't know what's going to happen in the court of law, but in the court of public opinion, what Hur said basically yesterday is Joe Biden committed crimes, but he didn't think he could prove them in court, that they were willful, because he was too old and cognitively impaired for a jury to convict him. So how do you prosecute Donald Trump for the same underlying crimes that Joe Biden committed and not prosecute Joe Biden? There's a separate issue. You have to separate the issue of interference and with the underlying crime. I mean, the fact that if you commit a murder and you cooperate in the investigation and tell them where the bodies are buried, that doesn't absolve you of murder, right? So the fact that Joe Biden cooperated with the investigation and Donald Trump didn't, that's a separate crime. The underlying crime is the same. And so if the American people see that one president was prosecuted for this crime and the other wasn't, they see a sense of unfairness.
And you have to do
maybe go after him for the interference, but that's separate.
Maybe, or you do what Andy McCarthy suggests, Mark, and that is drop both. Say you're both wrong,
right.
But we're going to drop both and move forward.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way,
that's what they should do.
McCarthy is the smartest legal mind we know. Okay, and that was his suggestion at the very beginning of that hearing yesterday. Mark, thanks for coming on. We'll talk to you later in the week. Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.